Good evening, family and friends. Welcome to the Fall 2025 Commencement Ceremony for Southeast Technical College. We ask that you please stand as the platform party, faculty, and our graduates enter the ballroom. The platform party is led by Dr. Corey Klossman, President of Southeast Technical College. We ask that you please remain standing for the national anthem. The junior colors are presented by the Washington High School Junior ROTC.
Please be seated. Good evening. Students of the class of 2025, parents, family, friends, and honored guests, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the fall commencement ceremony of Southeast Technical College. My name is Corey Klossman, and I have the privilege of serving as president here at Southeast Tech. Allow me now to introduce the individuals on stage with me. James Dover, President and CEO of Avera Health. Dr. Phoenicia Homan, Vice President for Academic Affairs. Megan Fisher, Vice President for Enrollment Management and Student Affairs. Eric Van Laken, Vice President of Technology and Operations. Christine Goldsmith, Vice President for Finance. Nan Kelly, Sioux Falls School Board President. Mark Murren, Sioux Falls School Board Member. Jeff Van Overbeek, Commencement MC and STC General Education Faculty Member. Please join me in welcoming our platform. I would also like to recognize the members of our Registrar's Office. None of this would have happened today without Laura Felland, Dana Jones, Erica Strouth, and Christy Vortherms. They have worked tirelessly over the last few days and weeks to make this ceremony run smoothly. Please join me in thanking them as well. I am also pleased to announce that tonight we have our very first graduate of our new Behavioral and Mental Health Technician program. So I want to congratulate our graduate in that program as well. Graduates, I know there were days when this moment seemed far away and perhaps even impossible. There were challenges and obstacles that tested your resolve, but you faced them head on, and today you stand here as graduates, ready to embark on the next chapter of your lives. As you look into the audience, take a moment to see all the people who are here because they are incredibly proud of you. Your family and friends, loved ones, and Southeast Tech faculty and staff have supported you throughout this journey, and their pride in your achievement is immeasurable. Graduates, I would ask that you please rise, turn to the audience, and give them a round of applause as a thank you for all of their support. Please be seated. This graduation is but one important step in the rest of your lives. Continue to pursue your dreams with the same determination and courage that brought you here today. I would now like to introduce Megan Fisher, our Vice President for Enrollment Management and Student Affairs, who will introduce our honored guest speaker.
Our commencement speaker today is a respected leader in healthcare and a dedicated champion for mission-driven service. Jim Dover is the president and CEO of Avera Health, where he leads one of the nation's most highly recognized health systems with vision, integrity, and purpose. With more than 40 years of healthcare leadership experience, Jim provides strategic direction and executive oversight across Avera's entire system. Most importantly, Jim's career reflects a deep commitment to leadership, service, and community, values that align beautifully with the graduation we're celebrating today. Please join me in welcoming our commencement speaker, Mr. Jim Dover.
Thank you. Let's get mic adjustment out of the way right away. So first off, thank you, President Klossman, for having me today. Also, want to extend my personal thank you to the faculty of Southeast Tech. You probably don't get a lot of thank you during grading season in terms of when it comes to doing tests, but through your hard effort and collaboration with our graduates today, we have all these wonderful graduates. So thank you for all your dedication that you provide to our students. So to our students, what I would like to do is give my hearty congratulations to a job well done for the beginning now of the rest of your career. I think this is obviously reaching this level of milestone is just incredible. But what I'd like to talk to you about today is how this is not just the start of a career path, but you're entering a vocation. So what's the difference? I think of career as me-centered. What am I able to personally achieve? How much money will I make, and will I be perceived as successful? A vocation is others-centered. How can I make this world a better place? How can I work for the greater good? And of course, a vocation brings along with it the career rewards of a job well done. Now, Avera is blessed to employ numerous Southeast Tech graduates, and as such, it is one of our several educational partners, and we're honored to collaborate with an educational partner who has, let me just share with you 3 statistics. 100% job placement for 39 programs. 99% of the graduates who are employed in their chosen field are 6 months after graduation. And LPN and RN programs, which are always near and dear to my heart, that are ranked #1 in South Dakota by nursingprocess.org. We have the opportunity to work with a lot of different partners, but I have to tell you the Southeast Tech is one of our most premier partners when it comes to forming and preparing our future workforce who want to go into being a vocation. So healthcare is a people-centered vocation. So our employees are at the heart of the care that we provide. We look for people who are not only skilled in their professional area, but willing to demonstrate care and compassion, which is so important in the healthcare journey. Now, this relates back to what I said about the difference between career and vocation. People typically go into healthcare to give back to others in the world. But I would also argue that for the graduates who are not in healthcare, they also want to give back to their part of the world as well. Whether it is the diesel mechanic who is making sure that the machinery that is on our farms that feed the rest of the world, to the techs who support everything we do, and the business majors who ensure that our organizations stay proficient and stay viable. So when I was asked to speak today, I was invited to share some of my wisdom, I'll put that in quotes, gained over 40 years of healthcare leadership. And I hope you can gain a little something from my journey to take with you on your own journey. So let me just start with a story. Stories are always sticky. You tend to remember those. And just go back and think about, in 3rd grade when the instructor or the teacher says, what do you want to be when you grow up? And typically the answer is doctor, nurse, fireman, farmer, teacher. No one ever says, I want to be a hospital administrator. It has never been said. And I didn't say it either. In my journey, my father was a scientist. He was a physicist. And so I wanted to be a scientist as well. So I pursued my bachelor's degree in bacteriology. And my first job was as a phlebotomist and EKG tech at a small hospital in Pocatello, Idaho, where I worked during the summertime every weekend, evenings, and nights, and got as much experience as I could as I became prepared in finishing out my education to become a clinical lab scientist. So that was my path at that time. That's what I chose to do. And while I loved working with patients and staff, and I still do to this day, I also learned something else, and that I loved collaborating with others and finding solutions to problems and implementing those solutions. So my first piece of wisdom I'd like to pass on to all of you is to set your goals, but be flexible. That led to a shift in my goals in pursuing a master's degree in hospital administration from the University of Minnesota, which has served me for well over 40 years now, the vast majority of my career. So I still get to visit with my colleagues in the laboratory, where science is still my first true love, but I took on a different role, which was a better fit for my skills and talents. But I sometimes wonder, what if I hadn't been flexible enough to call an audible and shift my focus based on what I learned about myself along the path? And sure, I think I'd be a great clinical lab scientist, but I'm not sure that's what I would have been best at or what I'm really wired for. So if there's something you love to do and you're good at it, I invite you to consider how you can incorporate that into your career path. Watch for the opportunities to build upon the degree you're earning today as you aspire to your next steps. The second piece of wisdom I'd like to pass on to you is to live by your values. Earlier in my career, I was challenged by a mentor of mine to identify my personal values. And that took me some time to develop, and it took almost a decade for me to hone and really discern what are my personal values that really describe to me and to others the heart of who I am. So I honed my values down to 5. Humility, compassion, excellence, faith, and joy. I am humbled every day by the people I work with at Avera. Their talent, their compassion, their expertise. I am every day humbled by the people I get a chance to work with. The compassion that the people I see, but also my own personal compassion to what can we do to alleviate the suffering of others. And one of the things I remember from when I was a phlebotomist, going into the room to draw the blood of a patient is yes, you would see some suffering with the patient, but the suffering by the family standing nearby as they watch their loved one battling an illness. For me, the empathy and compassion is strong to say, how can we relieve suffering in our communities that we serve? Number 3 was excellence. Every day I want to bring really my most excellent self. I owe it to others and I owe it to myself, and also, frankly, to the faculty who invested in me in terms of learning my skills and honing those skills in leadership, that I deserve to everybody else to make sure that I'm excellent every day and I'm not just getting by. Number 4th is faith. And I honed this probably the most deepest during the COVID pandemic, when many, many days it required faith to get me through, that we were going to have hope and be able to come out the other side of that terrible time in our world. And then lastly is joy. Our field, many of your fields, are very serious. But if we don't bring joy to our work environment, to our vocation, that is a long way to get through life. So I try and bring joy every day. Now, knowing these values has helped me live out what's important to me on and off the job, and it's also helped me to align with organizations with similar values, just like Avera. So the value of that excellence was really inspired by my father, though, and he was a general manager of the American Potato Company, and he gave me a coin one time. It was a paperweight, and it said seal of quality on the front, but what he had taped on the back was actually a saying from a fortune cookie. And it said, a solid challenge will bring forth your finest abilities. That was a message from my father to me, that to lean in to those solid challenges. Do not shy away from them. So for our graduates today, I would really encourage you, do not take the easy path. Lean into the challenges. That's when you'll experience the best growth in your vocation. And then third is, I would say, be positive, even if the world is negative. We all know that our culture is very polarized right now, and people on all sides can be negative, and it's too easy to join in, especially in social media. But I hold this out to you. The future is bright. When you're positive, you'll shine like a light that will be noticed by others. So whether you're a business major or a nursing major, there are big opportunities for people who are willing to apply themselves, take calculated risks, raise their hand to take on the hard tasks, and add value in their roles. For example, there are nurses at Avera who started on the front line of caregiving, which is a sacred calling in and by itself. Yet they've built on their skills and competencies, progressed through leadership positions, and now sit on the leadership councils of our varied hospital regions. In fact, 2 of our regional president and CEOs are nurses by training. So back once again to my point of vocation versus career, the rewards are big if you're in it to make a difference for the greater good. And at Avera, our employees overwhelmingly respond that they find the meaning in being part of something bigger than themselves, what we call the Avera mission, to make a positive impact in lives and health of persons and communities. And then lastly, as I mentioned earlier, bring your most excellent self every day. Over the decades, I have interfaced with literally hundreds and hundreds of people from various positions in healthcare, and I have met some that are just getting by, while I've also met others who brought their all. And those are the people who stood out to me and currently stand out to me today. They are ultimately tapped to do more for their field and endeavor. So if you want to be tapped to do more, to contribute more, and to shape the future, I encourage you to bring your excellent self and lean into those challenges. So I predict that in a few decades from now, you'll be amazed at where you are, you and your classmates have landed, and the many lives that you have impacted in your whatever particular vocation you have. And that makes it exciting to share this moment with you, and my best wishes as you begin a new chapter of life. So in concluding, congratulations again. I hope you take time today to celebrate your accomplishment with those you love, and they're all here today celebrating this with you. And then I think one more time, I think I would really encourage you to just take a moment that your accomplishments would not have been possible without the love and support of your family and friends. So this time, let's really give them a round of applause for those who are here today. Thank you.
I would now like to recognize 3 very special groups of students receiving their degrees, diplomas, or certificates today. I would ask each group to stand and be recognized when their group is called. First, students who are graduating with honors, please stand. These are students who are graduating with a GPA of 3.8 or higher. Next, I would ask graduates who have served in the military to rise. These grads are wearing a red, white, and blue cord and tassel. Finally, I'd like to ask all first-generation graduates to please rise. These are students who are the first person in their family to graduate from college. Congratulations.
Will the class of 2025 please come forward to be recognized? Members of the Sioux Falls School Board and Deans of Curriculum and Instruction, would you please join me in the presentation of the degrees and diplomas? Accounting, Jennifer Santos Duarte. Aaliyah Sesher. Kate Kurtz. Business Administration, Ethan Bartels. Dang. Janessa DeVree. Madison Fikema. Nathan Halleckson. Business Administration, Fatima Ibrahim. Jaden Keel. Mitchell Jewett. Business Administration, Michael Kleinhans. Daniel Pinn. Chloe Sheridan. Ireland Spurl. Business Administration, Agribusiness Emphasis, Kennedy Fredrickson. Kylie Mullins. Entrepreneurship, Sydney Overbay. Human Resource Management, Liz Fladmark. Gene Gunter. Richard Howard. Charlie Larson. Jackson Nordland. Jasmine Sorensen. Eliana Tooley. Marketing, Autumn Gaspar. Kendall Haran. Daniel Nilsson. Jada Walton. Behavioral and Mental Health Technician, Refuil Palesa Moshushu. Licensed Practical Nursing, Aginana Anagnulo. Tessa Anderson. Bailey Brees. Kayla Bramer. Lindsay Carter. Reagan Chilson. Mel Cox. Sarah Kremer. Bree Dennison. Tiana Duncan. Morgan Gibbons. Bailey Harvey. Jessica Herman. Grace Johnson. Tanya Knowles. Sarah Krager. Jada Kuser. Cadence Kuser. Mackenzie Kuiper. Brianna Kurvnig. Donna Lewis. Anita Makarov. Callie McDermott. Mary McKindu. Ava Merrill. Trish Mojica. Ashley Nichols. Kaylee Pearson. Trang Pham, Kennedy Praska, Molly Reiners Douglas, Taylor Reich, Lydia Reyes, Grace Robb, Kelsey Roberts, J.C. Robinson, Kennedy Roskins, Jada Royer Kearns, Kiara Sacri, Samuel Schleter, Brycelyn Schweibach, Ku Kli Shi, Alexa Shabanshanko, Grace Sterling, Kylie Studi, Haley Taylor, Scarlett Taylor, Savannah Van Dyne, Megan Weiss, Avery Whitesit, Kaylee Willard, Michaela Wilson, Registered Nursing, Nicole Benning, L. Blair, Rachel Brusvin Sturzinger, Caitlin Davis, Caitlin Heinrichsey, Madeline Johnson, Jessica Jones, Tiku Ku, Manuel Limos, Alicia Reef, Lisa Marie Valencia, Courtney Winter, Medical Coding, Lillian Ramos, Medical Lab Technician, Aiden Sanchez, Phlebotomy Certificate, Jenna Eichhoff, Rachel Fiak, Izzy Isabella Grine, Keegan Kukta, Phlebotomy Certificate, Madeline McFadden, Chris Parrott, Araya Pa, Stephanie Pitzalos Cowell, Haley Schnabel, Horticulture Technology, Remington Ford, Welding, Quentin Arp, Stephen Bailey, Lyle Chapin, Randy Matias. Chase Peterson. Danny Redlin. Benjamin Van Zee. Automotive Technology, Travis Caskey. Keegan Clausen. Cade Gebauer. Lynn Moffenbeyer. Braden Scalland. Stephen Tulin. Diesel Mechanic Trucking, Kane Vila.
Graduates, please stand. President Klausman, I now have the honor to present to you the Sioux Falls School Board and the South Dakota Board of Technical Education, the candidates for the Associate of Applied Science degree, diploma, and certificates of Southeast Technical College. For the fall of 2025, we are awarding 95 Associates of Applied Science degrees, 88 diplomas, and 41 certificates. Upon the recommendation of the faculty of Southeast Technical College, I present these candidates for graduation and request approval and certification of their degrees. I now certify to you, the Sioux Falls School Board and the South Dakota Board of Technical Education, that these candidates have completed the required course of study and ask you by official act to confer upon them these degrees.
By the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the Associate of Applied Science degrees, diploma, and certificates of Southeast Technical College as designated by the Vice President of Academic Affairs and admit you to all their rights, privileges, and responsibilities. Graduates, you may now turn your tassels as a symbol of your completion of your respective degree or diploma. And graduates, before we go, I now ask you to join me in the time-honored tradition of taking a selfie. Congratulations.
Family and friends, we ask that you remain seated as the platform party, faculty, and graduates now exit the ballroom. Graduates, after you recess out of the ballroom, you may come back in to take pictures in one of the small poinsettias as a gift from the Southeast Tech Horticulture Program.